My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
Man.
And that's what Christmas is all about.
You hear that, boy? That's what Christmas is all about.
Actually, Granddad, Christmas is a pagan holiday. And Jesus probably hates you for celebrating it.
There ain't gonna be no Scrooges in this house, boy.
Look, Granddad, it's clear from the scripture that Jesus was not born in winter. The shepherds who saw the angels announcing his birth would not have been out in their fields in December. The Palestinian winters are too cold, if you believe in that sort of thing. The truth is, Christmas evolved from the Roman holiday Saturnalia, a winter festival where men gave gifts to each other. They also would get drunk, have sex with each other, and beat their wives. People would act so crazy on Christmas, the holiday was outlawed by the Protestant Church until the 1800s. As a matter of fact, the United States Congress...
You said you got your daughter and you told her the truth.
Yes.
About Christmas.
And my nephews and all other small children.
told the other family members' children too.
So you got in between other children and their parents.
They
and told
asked
them.
me.
You told, and so what is the truth?
Well, okay, I did some research on these holidays and I found out that Christmas has nothing to do with Christ at all. It's all about the worshiping of a sun god. During the time when Constantine was converting pagans into Christians, you know, the pagans didn't want to let go of their celebrations. So what they did to compromise was they married the two. They took pagan festivals and Christian doctrine and put them together.
That was in the 4th century.
But it doesn't matter, because if we lived during the 4th century and we call ourselves Christians, like the early Christians did, we would not have celebrated.
During the month-long winter solstice celebration, courts in Rome were closed. Any and all crimes were allowed. Homosexuality, cross-dressing, and uncontrolled debauchery reigned supreme. Rome's order was turned upside down. Even children were allowed to join in the drunken orgies as part of the Juvenalia celebration. By 270 AD, the Roman Emperor Aurelian had made it official, setting aside a 7-day period from December the 17th through the 24th, culminating in an exchange of gifts on December the 25th to celebrate the birth of the sun god. This Roman orgy to end all orgies later became known as Saturnalia, in honor of the god Saturn.
Jackpot. GR27. Dr. Morgan Michaels is the chief scientist, but the location of the lab is redacted. AI-controlled CRISPR. If that actually works, it could cure any genetic disease. Cystic fibrosis, Huntington's, this is crazy.
He's growing so rapidly.
Makes sense. Last night he killed a grizzly bear, the most powerful terrestrial predator on the planet. So you tell me right now, Kate, how any of this makes sense?
Are you familiar with CRISPR?
Yeah, genetic engineering.
It's more like genetic editing. I am talking about extremely specific results. Check this out. Look, sharks are indeterminate growers, right? They never stop. Isolate that gene and combine it with, say, the growth rate of a blue whale, the strength of a rhinoceros beetle, the speed of a cheetah.
And you get one confused gorilla that could take down a grizzly.
And we developed a lot of different genetic combinations, so changes will be incredibly unpredictable.
Right. Okay, Kate, I get all that, but it still doesn't explain to me how he doubled in size. Guys, we need to get that food in now.
See, CRISPR only allows you to alter the DNA of one cell at a time.
The Codebreaker tells an amazing story. It's about how Jennifer Doudna and other scientists discovered a new way to edit DNA. Editing DNA with precision has been a holy grail for scientists for decades. The DNA, of course, encodes all of the biological functions. And so some of the mistakes in DNA cause disease, genetic disease. If we could go in and fix those mistakes, we could save many, many lives and get rid of these diseases. CRISPR is a very fascinating tool. You figure out a part of the DNA sequence that you want to change. Then you take the DNA that's nearby and create a guide in RNA, so that helps you locate the position. And then you link this Cas enzyme, which has the ability to do that cut and edit. And so pulling together this guiding RNA and this Cas enzyme, editing becomes possible.
Nobel Prize in Chemistry to Jennifer Doudna, who trained in my laboratory at CU Boulder in the 1990s, and her colleague, Emmanuelle Charpentier. And so there was a lot of celebration when her discovery of CRISPR genome editing was recognized at this level. Now, what does CRISPR do? Well, it cleaves double-stranded DNA. But it's not as simple as the red scissors, okay? And this is where the RNA comes in. And I'm so excited that the first vaccines to be approved were the messenger RNA vaccines wrapped up in a greasy little ball called a lipid nanoparticle. Now, remember, the first story, the CRISPR story, was the non-coding RNA. Now we've got the messenger RNA, which is the coding RNA.
We think an inoculation program is our best shot at keeping this under our thumb.
This flu season could be the deadliest in 30 years.
I'm curious. If you just cracked this new virus, how are you ready with vaccines so quickly?
I wish there were more time to go over all of the science and the internal processes behind this project.
They know that the Jewish people in Israel are not the original people, are not the original people, are not the original people.
You know what you are? You're an ancient Israelite.
Ancient Israel, that's who we are. That's who we are. You cannot take a lie and the truth and mix it together to be a truth. You cannot tell half of a lie and be like, oh, I told you the truth. No, you didn't. You can't do that. Jesus is not black. He's not black at all. Jesus, in his white image, is actually Caesar Borgia, a gay painter and lover of King James himself, and along with several other guys. Anyways, Yahusha HaMashiach, that is our Messiah. Yahusha HaMashiach is black. Revelations chapter 1 verse 14 is telling us Yahusha, the true Messiah, our true Savior. It's telling us his description, not Jesus's.
92% of the people that say that they are Jews today are in fact Ashkenazi, sons of Gomer, so thereby are the synagogue of Satan, they who say they are Jews and are not. So who are the real Jews? Bereshit, Genesis chapter 9 verse 27. We have got the Ashkenazi sons of Japheth that have infiltrated into the land and are what? They've got the whole world convinced. The whole world convinced that they are sons of Shem. Do you know how many blacks in America have been lost to Islam? It's outrageous. That's not your tribe. Your tribe is Judah. Muhammad's tribe enslaved you. Why would you convert to Muhammad's tribe when you're of King David's tribe? Don't convert to the tribe that enslaved you and then sold you to Ashkenazi. Ship merchants.
All right, let's just look again at the structure. You've got fallen angels, and then you've got Nephilim, and then you've got the humans. So you need to understand that a fallen angel is not a Nephilim. A fallen angel comes, has sex. Let me just go to the next slide. How are Nephilim created? You've got your fallen angels have sex with a woman on earth, and then what happens? The hybrids. So what they do, they take the body of the woman, from the mother, all they take from her is the human box. But inside is Satan's seed. And remember in Genesis, God said to Satan, there will be enmity between your seed and the seed of the woman. And this is what is happening here. And so you can just see that what is a hybrid? It's a half fallen angel, half human. And
Greek myths are filled with semi-divine figures, such as Hercules, who were born from the union of gods and humans. These heroes, with their strength and superhuman abilities, are much like the Nephilim of the Bible, who also resulted from the combination of divine entities and human beings. Both the Nephilim and the Greek demigods occupy a space between the earthly and the divine, challenging the limits of the human condition. Comparing these two types of beings helps us understand an ancient cultural pattern of attempting to explain the inexplicable through mythology and religion. In Greek mythology, Hercules and other semi-divine heroes were seen as figures of immense power.
What are the movies like Raya and the Last Dragon, Moana, Frozen 2, and Pixar's latest production called Elemental have in common? They're teaching the basic fundamentals of elemental witchcraft.
I wanted to do like a full treatment of the history of feminism. So I took 2.5 years and dug in super, super hard. Like I went to all the primary sources. I read all the writings of the feminists themselves as far back as I could find it, you know? And I didn't know anything. I thought I kind of knew. I didn't know. I had no idea. And as I'm researching and I'm profiling all the different feminist activists over the last several centuries, I found this thread over and over and over that most of them were very much diametrically opposed to Christianity. Mm-hmm. They were into the occult in various forms. A lot of them were spirit mediums, tarot card readers, automatic writers. They were theosophists. They were members of the Golden Dawn, like all the different esoteric, groups that are out there. And as I kept finding this, I thought, okay, I can't ignore this aspect because I keep finding it. There's something here. There's something to this. I thought it would be more about like the funding and the politics, but I found this common spiritual thread among all of these women who were so passionate about feminism that it was like that Christianity is the patriarchy, and that's really what they were fighting. And I was shocked to find a PhD thesis by a professor out of Sweden who himself is a Luciferian. So obviously he and I have different worldviews, but he found the same thing that I found. And he wrote his PhD thesis, which is a book you can buy on Amazon called Satanic Feminism. And it talks about how first wave feminism, we're talking late 1700s through the 19th century, these women openly saw Lucifer as their liberator. They wrote about it, they talked about it. And I'm like, why have I never heard that, right? So that's kind of the paradigm shatter for me was to realize that this is a spiritual battle more than it is a political one. The politics is downstream, but that this is a spiritual thing. And even for these women that far back, they saw this as a spiritual battle more than they even saw it as a political or a financial or a social battle. So that completely changed the way that I looked at feminism.
Witches have always been somewhat feminist. We have been fighting for the right to be treated correctly.
I practice witchcraft. I pull tarot cards. I have crystals everywhere. I make shrines. I cast spells. I meditate. But it's sort of a political distinction, and I think it speaks to my radical feminism.
Good afternoon. I want to share a verse that I heard when I was younger. The verse is in 1 Samuel 15:23, and it says, "For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity." I think this is something that we women may struggle with. This spirit of this world we may struggle with, not wanting to be obedient, wanting to do everything on our own. There's a balance. There is a balance, and if we're not careful, we can get that spirit of witchcraft on us, and we could get that spirit of rebellion, and we could endanger not only our souls, but our husbands and our children.